with you all, those who are in the sanctuary here with us, those joining us online from Zoom or on YouTube. We do ask, if you're on Zoom, that you go ahead and silence your microphones at this time and make sure that stays off until coffee hour. If you're here in person, you know how to be silent and when to sing. So I invite you to take a breath and rise in body, spirit, or voice for our prelude hymn today. It's number 347, Gather the Spirit. And it is in our gray hymnal. Online, the words will just appear on your screen. So if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. If you could fill out a blue sheet if you're here in person, they're in the entryway, or on Zoom, you can email office@firstuu-indianapa.org. Just let us know and we'll help you to join our newsletter mailing list and get you connected with what's going on in our congregation. If you have the bandwidth on Zoom to turn your camera on, that's a wonderful piece of providing fellowship. Seeing our faces is part of what helps us to feel connected each Sunday. And on Zoom, you'll also see a little speech bubble in the middle of your toolbar just below the video screen. It's labeled chat. We use that for joys and sorrows, and we'll also be using it as a way to connect with our fire bowl for our Fire Communion Sunday, which we do at New Year's time. The First Unitarian Universalist Church of Indiana, Pennsylvania is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association. We are self-governing congregations united in a web of mutuality that creates our denomination. We have no creed nor doctrine, teaching that all individuals have the right and the responsibility to discern and follow our own spiritual paths. We come together to support and assist one another on our journeys, and to build our beloved community together. I invite you to stay after the service to greet one another and rejoice in our mutual presence. We'll open up the microphones on Zoom for coffee hour, and folks here in person are welcome to greet one another, and also those joining us electronically in the back at that time. It is a new year, and I invite you to check out our new and continuing events. We have Conscious Dance happening with Lenny Pina on the 8th. Our drop-in Soul Matters reflection group continues on the second Tuesday of each month, which will be, I believe, on the 7th. And we have more classes that'll be starting up in just a couple of weeks. So do please look and join in on all of our exciting activities. We are also restarting our worship committee. We've had a few people transition off into other leadership opportunities. So I would love to invite you all to come on the 16th after church if you are interested in joining the worship committee. And now I invite you to take a gentle breath and settle yourself into a spirit of worship. Our call to worship is by the Reverend Dennis McCarty, who writes, "To every one of us, there come those times. We need to clean out the disheveled closets, otherwise known as our lives. Pull out the old anxieties, antagonisms, disappointments, and if we don't completely throw them in the trash, at least re-examine them, restock, restore, so they are no longer in the way. Of all those items we can actually put to use, those most beloved to us, loved ones, gifts we find most joy in sharing, little bits of wisdom we must surely have acquired along the way. Store those in front. There's only so much shelf space. Let's not waste it with the worn out refuse of our lives. Pull out all those necessaries proven useful, all the best we have to offer to ourselves and to the world. And now comes the time when we light our chalice flame. On Zoom, if you'd like to type, "The flame is lit," and say where you're joining us from in the chat bar. That would be lovely. For those of you here in person, we don't have orders of service today, so I will speak the words for our chalice lighting, and then we will sing together hymn number 362, Rise Up, O Flame, which is a chalice lighting responsive hymn. Our chalice lighting is by Deborah Burrell. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, our fears about the future, and our worries about today. May it light for us a path of joy and peace. And now, if you'd like to rise in body and spirit and join in singing hymn number 362, Rise Up, O Flame.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, bring to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, bring to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, bring to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, bring to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glow, bring to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glow, Rise up, O flame.
Thank you all. Today is the first Sunday of a new year. And I bet most of you know, what is the most common ritual for the new year here in North America? Not a Yule log. That's for Yule. It is a turning of the year, yeah. Spending time with your family is definitely a thing we do around these holidays, yeah. What else? Making resolutions. New Year's resolutions are a big thing that people do a lot in this country, in Canada, all over North America. It's making promises to yourself, things that you want to do in the new year, setting your hopes. And we have another thing we do, not just for New Year, but every week in the Unitarian Universalist tradition. Do you know what the most common ritual in Unitarian Universalism is? Oh yeah, it's lighting the chalice. We do that every single week. The chalice lighting actually comes from the Unitarian Universalist youth, high schoolers all over the country who converted that symbol of a chalice that was a flat symbol on paper that people were using for logos. And they went, well, that looks like a cup or a bowl. We can put candles in cups and bowls. This could be not just a symbol, but a ritual. Setting intentions shapes us. And so today, we're going to kind of combine those two ideas. We're doing a ritual that's fairly widespread across Unitarian Universalist congregations, which does some of each of these things. So we're going to be using a fire bowl this Sunday to set our intentions. to talk about things we want to do for the coming year, things that might whisper in our ears, reminding us of who we want to become, how we want to be. So I believe that Tina set up some baskets for us. Oh, well, in that case, thank you, Penny. All right. Well, we're going to be passing around a couple of baskets. They have some strips of paper and some markers. And we are going to be using those to write. Now, these are big markers and little strips of paper, and those markers will soak right through if we're not careful. So I'm going to invite you to write a single word or a symbol to show what it is you are intending in the coming year. So you might write trust, faith, intentions. Yeah. And all right. So as you're getting those, let's take a few moments to breathe and to think, as our opening reading said, which things need to be cleared out of the closets, off the shelves of our minds, what you need to let go of. And then take another breath or two and think about what it is you want to be putting right up front. Those are going to be your intentions. So before we bring up your intentions, do we have anything we need to get rid of from the past year? Yeah. That sounds like a lot of grief. That's really sad. Yeah, so maybe we need to light a piece for grief that we need to work through. Thank you for sharing that. I found that this past year was a time of many worries about things I couldn't do much about. So I am going to be lighting my worries and sending them away. What else? Yeah. That's another piece of grief to remember. Ooh, that one wants to fly and go. Thank you for sharing that. Disappointments. Anything else we need to let go? Yes. Lots of clutter. So letting go of the clutter real or imagined in our lives. I think I'm going to go ahead and light 2 for that. I think mental and physical clutter. There's plenty of it. Anything else to let go before we set those new intentions? All right. Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that one actually is a happy thing. So spending time with family seems like an intention we might actually want to continue. Thank you. So maybe we're ready to set some new intentions. So I'm going to invite you to come up. And as you've seen, these, once they light, kind of go up. So just go ahead and let go, and they will drift into the bowl. I encourage you not to throw them. They lift themselves. Let me know if you'd like any help with that. We're ready to set intentions. You can just put that right over top and let go. There you go. Here's a little bit. Whoosh. There you go. Thank you. All right. As you feel ready, leave that right in that middle bowl. That's fine. Your intentions just don't want to leave you. I think that's a better flame for you. All right. Thank you all. And I'd like to invite us to just take another couple of breaths to really make sure that those things that we wanted to leave behind in the past year are past. And to bring forth those intentions that you lifted up here. And make sure you're holding them in your heart, in your mind. Bringing them right into the center of your soul for this coming year. Thank you all so much. Let us make this our shared prayer. May all that we have done in the past year be enough. May we shed what no longer serves our purpose. May we allow ourselves to grow and change. May we find calm and comfort here. And may we open ourselves to a new year, to new life, to new intention. May it be so. And now comes the time in our service where we take a moment to pass the peace, to greet one another, and especially to note those who perhaps you haven't seen before or haven't seen in a while, and offer them a word of peace. You might say, peace be with you, or bright blessings, salam alaikum, shalom, or namaste. Truth into the world. May your hearts know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace. People have always known that fire was special, writes Elizabeth Harding. Long, long ago, before people made matches or candles or even houses, people knew that fire was special. There was a great fire in the sky each day, the sun, which made the earth warm and made night into day. And there were the smaller fires that people made, fires that cooked their food and kept them warm and brought them light. People honored the fires because fire was special. Fire was more than human. Fire has power. It can create and it can destroy. It can bring light and it can burn. It can create and it can destroy. Fire can be wonderful and fire can be terrible. We have to be careful with fire. And so people thought fire was something sacred and holy. Some people even worshiped fire, said that fire was a deity like any other god or goddess. Other people said fire wasn't actually the deity, but it meant that the deity was there. But no matter what they believed, people all over the world gave fire a special place in their religions. They had fires in their homes, of course, to cook food and keep warm. They also had sacred fires in their temples. They set sacred lamps on their altars. They lit sacred bonfires outside on the hilltops and in the groves and placed sacred torches near the graves of those who had died. This wasn't just long ago. We still do this today. In Washington, D.C., near the tomb of the unknown soldier, burns an eternal flame, which is never to go out. In churches at Christmas time, many Christians light 4 candles on their Advent wreath. During the 8 days of Hanukkah, Jewish people light the 8 candles of the menorah. At Diwali, Hindus set small lamps all around the house. And when Unitarian Universalists gather, we light a chalice. This is our sacred fire. And in honor of this sacred time and this sacred flame, let us speak together the words of our 7 principles. They can be found in the front of your gray hymnal or on your screen if you are joining us on Zoom or YouTube. We covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, acceptance of one another, and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the right of conscience, and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. And now we come to our centering words. Creating new intentions is important. And we've done some of that with our young people. And now is the time to simply be in that suspended moment between past and future. To know what was, to honor what is coming, and to be in this moment, this holy moment together. Our centering words are Cleansing Fires by Adelaide Ann Proctor. Let thy gold be cast in the furnace, thy red gold path precious and bright. Do not fear the hungry fire with its caverns of burning light, and thy gold shall return more precious, free from every spot and stain. For gold must be tried by fire, as a heart might be tried by pain. In the cruel fire of sorrow, cast thy heart. Do not faint or wail. Let thy hand be firm and steady. Do not let thy spirit quail. But wait till the trial is over and take thy heart again. For as gold is tried by fire, so a heart must be tried by pain. I shall know by the gleam and glitter of the golden chain you wear, by your heart's calm strength in loving, of the fire they've had to bear. Beat on, true heart, forever shine, bright, strong, golden chain, and bless that cleansing fire and the furnace of living pain. During our centering music, which is Hope Comes by the Banksons, during that time, if you have joys or sorrows you would like spoken aloud, we'll pass around a few note cards. You may write them down or write them in the chat online, and our tech host will share them to be woven into our shared pastoral prayer.
Come from the place where the hurt come. I said, hope come from the place where the hurt come. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. The part of you that is not all right, yeah, is also the part that loves the light. Comes from the place and the part of you that is suffering is the part that calls in change. And you don't have to feel ashamed. There is nothing to forgive. The part of you that is crying out is the part that wants to live. Yeah, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. When your world is burning down, well, getting hot is a sane reaction, but one in need of action, because your spirit needs protection. So gather up your sinew and gather up your affection. Hope is not a feeling, hope is an action. Hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes. We are not all right. you through this night. Yeah. I'm gonna fall down on my knees. Yeah. Oh, will we say, help me please, help me please. We can say, hey, we are not all right. We are not all right. We can help each other get through the night. Cause hope comes from the center of the hurt, in the middle of the dirt. We'll plant a seed and watch it grow into something we don't already know.
And now we come to that time which we set aside each Sunday to share together in community the joys, the sorrows, the mixed blessings of our lives. We begin with a time of silence and candle lighting. Let us join hearts and minds together in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life, endless love. We gather to share together in community the milestones of our living. We share the joy of finding a welcoming space to be spiritual with others. We hold gratitude for a friend and mentor, Dr. Mary Lou Zonick. We hold the complicated but joyful moment of Lenny having accomplished the enormous task of clearing out the family homestead and selling the house. And we hold in care as well Charlotte Manges, a member of this community, who is now at St. Andrew's Village after having been released from IRMC this past week. We hold also in care Nana Randall and her family. Her mother is close to death. May her passing be peaceful. We hold deep grief for the passing of Desmond Tutu, man of God, and Betty White, and we hold closer to home the sorrow that Ramona's father in Burma died unexpectedly. His grandsons, Oliver and Justin, are grieving along with their whole family. Ramona's father was an active fighter for democracy for over 30 years. And we hold in care several members of our own congregation who are dealing with COVID exposures and with illness this week. We hold prayers for health, for healing, for rest and comfort. And for all those whose homes were lost in the Colorado fires just 2 days ago, we hold care as well. Several members of the Lafayette and Boulder congregations have lost their homes. We are grateful that there were no deaths, as far as we have found. Let us hold gratitude for what is good. Hold care for those in need of comfort. Hold sorrow with those in need of compassion. For these are the bonds of sacred community. And today, we will not do all of this during the service. You are welcome to stay after as well. We have a tradition in this congregation that at the turning of each year, we burn the joys and sorrows of the past year. Last year, we were only online because of COVID, and this box has become weighty. And so, because it's still a multi-platform congregation, let me take the microphone with me. We are going to begin to burn and release some of these, our built up joys and sorrows. As we enter this new year, we hope to create enough space for new ways of being. And I hope to create a candle that will stay lit down here. In past years, fire communion was simply a way of marking time, of telling us the year is over and we begin anew. But these last 2 years have been something different, almost a time outside of time. Everything has been strange and new. Everything has felt unprecedented and sometimes unbearable. And so we need to make space for our community, because we are resilient, but we are not infinite. And so let us allow our joys and our sorrows to be, but not to consume us, not to last forever. For life is transient and ever-changing. Our stories are important to have and to hold and to let them change and evolve. And we'll continue with this sacred burning following the service in honor of our smoke detectors, which I don't want to have go off. But this is an important piece of how we are together. And I want us to honor that. It is part of the turning of time and of becoming a community woven together through our griefs and our joys and how we care for one another. Blessed be. Amen. And we now come to that time in our service where we share the plate, pass the basket for an offering, and give a portion of each week's donations to an organization outside of our church. Our congregation's mission includes the line to promote compassionate and responsible thought in the world. And we do that by giving back to the community around us every week. So when you give this morning or any day, know that you are making an impact not only for this congregation, but also for those around us in the wider community who are shared giving. It is January, and we are beginning a new cycle for Share the Plate. So please look in your newsletter and fill out the form for nominations. We ask for new nominations each year because that process of hearing from you about the different organizations in the community, what's exciting you, what you're a part of, how we are connected, gives us information about new leadership and helps our whole congregation to understand what our donations support and therefore be more generous. So fill out the form. Give me a call if you'd like to get a group on the list. Let me know if you just filled it out last year and you want to make a couple updates. Our congregation is filled with those who have a bit extra. And we are grateful that you take so seriously the call of our shared faith to give beyond these walls and build a better world. So please give generously as you are able to the work of this church as we share in singing our offertory hymn. It's number 402, From You I Receive. Together we share and
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and by this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and by this we live.
we received for the work of this church and the betterment of the community. When I planned this service today, I wrote, burn it down. I'm so done with the last couple of years. And then on New Year's Eve, as it were, December 30th, as I was in Colorado with my parents, a wildfire started. 600 homes burnt to ashes in just a couple of hours. Winds were upwards of 80 or 100 miles an hour. Nothing to be done. So here I was trying to write a homily and going, well, I didn't mean it literally. But here's the thing. People are resilient. People offer care. Sometimes what we need in life is something to startle us out of our ruts. Something to remind us that stuff is not the be all end all of existence. Sometimes tragedy opens space for caring. And it's not to say that tragedy is good or that you need to find silver linings. Let me be clear. When I say burn it down, I mean systems, not people, not precious objects. Never care or community. But I know that you have watched as much as I have, and these past 2 years have been a shocking testament to a system that wants so badly to perpetuate itself that it is willing to sacrifice the lives of human beings in order to keep that monster of money and greed going. And that's not holy. Oh, that's not precious. That's not something worth saving. People are worth saving. Community is worth saving. But this system is a death cult. There is destruction happening all around us in ways that we feel trapped in, that feel inescapable. So I looked at that wildfire burning, and it never should have started. Except there's been no snow this year. Dry grasslands, ready to be covered up in frost, but just dry instead. You look outside. The grass is green and growing. The daffodils are up in the back garden. We are living in strange times. And long ago, this would have been a moment for prophets and prophecies. plagues of frogs, seasons out of seasons, fires across the land. But instead, stay in your house, order more stuff on Amazon. Just go to work, whether or not you're sick. You'll be fine. That's not sustainable. It's not in line with our values. And so, there are some things that are worthy of destruction. One of them is our insistence on believing that work matters for itself. Your attendance record is not the most important thing. Are you learning? Are you growing? Are you helping people? Is what needs to happen happening in order to make a better world? Those are job markers that are worthy. But going to work, even if you're sick, is not honoring the sacred. I urge you not to do it, not to endanger lives, to be in attendance anywhere. Your own life is holy, it's sacred. It is worth protecting. And if you look around this room, you look around on Zoom, you look around your community, every single person there is real and whole and holy. And so this year, whatever resolutions you make, whatever your goals or hopes or dreams are, I know my intention for this year is sustainability, to live a life that I can keep on living, to build a community that keeps on being together. And if we can do that through disasters, floods, fires, we'll still have what matters, because we'll have love and support and care. May that be the purpose of this church. I know it shall be mine. Blessed be. And may your new year bring you joy, wonder, insight, spaciousness, and resilience. Our closing words come from Alberto Rios, called A House Called Tomorrow. You are not 15 or 12 or 17. You are 100 wild centuries and 15, bringing with you in every breath and in every step everyone who has come before you, all the yous that you have been, the mothers of your mother, the fathers of your father. If someone in your family tree was trouble, 100 were not. The bad do not win, not finally. No matter how loud they are, we simply would not be here if that were so. You are made fundamentally from the good. With this knowledge, you never march alone. You are the breaking news of the century. You are the good who has come forward through it all, even if so many days feel otherwise. But think, when you as a child learned to speak, it's not that you didn't know words. It's that from the centuries, you knew so many. And it's hard to choose the words that will be your own from these centuries we human beings bring with us. The simple solutions and songs, the river bridges and star charts, and song harmonies, all in service to a simple idea that we can make a house called tomorrow. What we bring, finally, into the new day, every day, is ourselves. And that's all we need to start. That's everything we require to keep going. Look back only for as long as you must, then go forward into the history you will make. Be good, then better. Write books, cure disease, make us proud, make yourself proud. And those who came before you, when you hear thunder, hear it as their applause. And now, would you please sing with me our closing hymn? It's number 4, I Brought My Spirit to the Sea. The words will be on your screen or in your gray hymnal during the music. I invite you to stand or lift your voice as you feel able and willing.
I brought my spirit to the sea, I stood upon the shore. I gazed upon infinity, I heard the waters roar. And then there came a sense of peace, some whisper calmed my soul. Some ancient ministry of stars had made my spirit whole. I brought my spirit to the trees that loomed against the sky. touched each wandering, careless breeze to know if God was nigh. And then I felt an inner flame that fiercely burned my tears. Upright I rose from bed.